Everybody out there in hypnosis land. My name is Didi Verg and I'm your host for Let's Talk Hypnosis. So today we have the very special privilege of interviewing somebody who has a tremendous amount of experience in the recording industry, the hypnosis industry, and the performing industry, which is James D. Dayley. James, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Didi, and thank you for having me.
Let me tell you a little bit about James. James D. Dayley is one of Utah's top mentalist and hypnotic entertainers with over 30 years of experience in the world of hypnosis. James has appeared on television and in print as a published author and a recognized expert in hypnosis. He first became enchanted with mentalism and hypnosis after he became a personal associate with world-renowned psychic Uri Geller, who, for those of you who don't know, was the original spoon bender. So James became tremendously fascinated with the power of the human mind, and he began many years of study undergoing formal hypnosis and NLP training, and now he's a certified trainer in NLP. But here's the important thing. Before James got into hypnosis, though, he enjoyed a 2-decade career in the recording industry. Now, he spearheaded people like Andy Gibbs' personal career of the Bee Gees, and a number of recording artists, too many to mention right now, but some of them you may recognize are Eric Clapton, Van Morrison, the Bee Gees. And at this year's Hypnothoughts, James is going to be teaching a 2-day post-conference on becoming a hypnosis recording artist. So James, tell us, how did it all start for you? I mean, I gave a brief introduction of your fascination of having, been a personal associate with Uri Geller, but tell us, what truly got you into hypnosis and then eventually performing and eventually becoming a recording artist?
Interesting. I was born here in Utah, raised in the beautiful islands of Hawaii, and I've always found Hawaii to be a very magical place. So I've always reached out for magic in all its forms. In fact, I think I attempted to hypnotize somebody when I was about 12 years old for the first time. The interesting thing is when I was 19, I got a job working for the Robert Stigwood organization, right as Stigwood was about to release the movie Tommy. And something I didn't realize about him is that he was actually a hypnotist back in Australia before he discovered the Bee Gees and did all of that. One night in Bermuda, Barry Gibb asked Robert if he'd do a demonstration after dinner. And I watched Robert do his first hypnosis. The first time I've ever seen it one-on-one. The interesting thing that he did was, and he got me to volunteer, and as he was going along from each person, he was rubbing their hands, saying cold and numb, numb and cold, and something that I don't recommend doing, but Stigwood used to do this as a convincer, is he would light a Bic lighter and heat up a spoon and press it against your hand. If you flinched, you weren't under. And I heard him doing it to the guy next to me, and I thought, oh, he's going to burn me. He's going to burn me. And as soon as he started on my hand, I started getting nervous. And, of course, as soon as he pressed it, I flinched.
Right.
He took me down a little bit deeper. He did it a second time, and all I felt was pressure. The next morning, Barry Gibb came running up to me, he and his wife Linda, and asked me, James, let's see your hand. And as they looked at my hand, I had a blister where I flinched, but nothing the second time.
Right.
And it amazed me how powerful the mind is that we can actually prevent even a burn from happening. So I asked Robert, how did you learn to do hypnosis? I figured he went to a college or university, and he said, I picked up 3 books on hypnosis. I said, which ones? He couldn't remember. So as soon as I got back to the States, I bought 3 books on hypnosis. This was in about 1975. When I read the first one, I understood it, but I didn't get it. Read the second book, and I understood what to do once I dropped somebody into a trance, but I didn't have confidence to try it. And about a third way through the third book, I read one line, and it clicked. Went out to a party that night, said, who wants to be hypnotized? I was very fortunate. I had a synabulous volunteer. Within 15 minutes, I had him in a deep trance. We had his body stiff and rigid like a board. It was amazing. Built my confidence, and over the years, I used hypnosis after shows to entertain the groups. I became the entertainer of the entertainers, so to speak.
Oh,
and
that's very exciting. Because you hung around some very high caliber performers.
It was kind of interesting. I mean, I could go on for days about some of the events that we did back on tour, but I finally found around 1980 when I left working as Andy Gibbs' personal manager and was given the position of director of artists and repertoire for RSO Records. I remember being invited to a party in New York, walked into someone's apartment, and the person that greeted me said, "Oh, hey, cool, it's the Hypnosis dude." He'd seen me do Hypnosis in Los Angeles a few weeks earlier, and I thought, as vice president, director of A&R for this company, I really don't want to be known as the Hypnosis dude.
Yeah.
And I felt that hypnosis was too powerful of a tool just to be squandered on party tricks and entertainment, although there is definitely a need and necessity for that. I felt that it was something that shouldn't just be squandered on party tricks. So I kind of put it on the back burner with the idea that if I ever got out of show business, I could always use my talents and help people stop smoking and move on from there. Well, what's led me to creating hypnosisrecordingartist.com is that over the years I've been to Hypnothoughts, and I've learned some wonderful things from some of the great pros that are out there, the Richard Barkers, the Alan Sands, on how to market your products. But no one actually came through and, they teach you how to go into the studio. For the last 3 years, I've done a lecture at Hypnothoughts on how to become a hypno recording artist. Always a packed room because people want to learn how to do it. And the key thing that I try to teach people is to get rid of your limiting beliefs and get started. The technology that's available today for recording is completely different than the $100,000 studios that we used to do our recordings in.
Right.
You don't need 28 tracks, and for hypnosis recordings, it can be very simple. But some of the basics are missing. Vocal exercises, how to speak from your diaphragm and how to project your voice, how to actually record. And the real challenge that I found is people learn how to go out and market their products, but they don't have any product to do it. And us hypnotists, sometimes we're the worst procrastinators. Oh, we'll get around to that. And people are interested and want to do this. So what I've decided is, as a post-conference at Hypnothoughts this year, is I'm going to set up a recording studio. I'm going to take each of my students, bring them in, and we're actually going to put on headphones and we're going to do recording. You're going to leave Hypnothoughts with at least one, hopefully 2, maybe 3 actual products so that we can actually create a whole marketing strategy for you. Some of you may just want to have a recording to give your clients when they come in for an interview, or you're let's say you're doing a smoke cessation. How cool would that be to be able to give them a link to go download a follow-up audio? All of these things are available, and I'm going to make it available working on a one-on-one basis as your producer.
Okay, and so from what I understand, you're going to go right through the whole gamut. So not only recording, but how to set up the marketing, how to set up a web page, correct?
I'm actually doing even more than that for you. I'm going to set that up for you. By signing up, the first thing you're going to get is I'm going to create an actual landing page for you. I'm going to bring my camera. If you have photos, send them to me in advance. If not, we'll take care of all of that. But we're actually going to create a landing page so that when you leave, you're not just going to have a recording that you can then put on YouTube or place wherever you want. You're actually going to have a web page that you can use to market. I'm going to set up a lead magnet so that you can actually get people to sign into your mailing list so that you can start building your leads and your mailing list. All of this is going to be set up for you, and you're going to have access to it. You'll link it in with your PayPal account, so when you sell a product online, you get paid for it. To do this, and actually, even though it's a 2-day seminar, I don't think we're going to need the full 2 days. In fact, I'm not going to be doing lecturing. It's not going to be your typical talking head telling you how to do this. I'm going to spend a little bit of time doing that, and then we're actually going to sit down and start recording. Once you've signed up to this in advance, you'll be given a link to Product Dino, to a webpage that I've created, where you're going to have all types of resources. These resources are going to be, I've even created 5 audio tracks that are each an hour long that you can use as your backtracks. These will be royalty-free, licensed music that you can use on your recordings. I'm going to explain in the lecture why it's important to have royalty-free music. You're going to have resources on how to find scripts. So if you don't have scripts of your own, I'll have some scripts that are available that are public domain that you'll be able to utilize so that you can actually record and have these recordings. So really everything's going to be set up for you. So, and as soon as you leave, you'll be able to start selling product.
Yeah, it sounds like from A to Z, you're going to leave with a product, leave with a marketing funnel or a lead generation magnet, and right through from landing page and all. So for those of you who really want to leave with something, because I know myself, you know, I have to submerge myself right into a course, like a live course, because as hypnotists, we have tons of online courses, but how many of us really do them? Right? So I really recommend you go to James' course because you are going to complete your product from beginning to end. So what else do you want to say to those aspiring hypnosis recording artists out there? Because I know you have a ton of products that you offer on your website.
I do, and the cool thing is that even though you're going to walk away with 2 or 3 products of your own, you're going to also learn how to continue to do this and how to add product to it and keep building and expanding it. And of course, the one thing, Didi, that I was waiting for you to mention that you haven't is, am I going to be doing any spoon bending while I'm there?
You know, I had the thought went through my mind, but yes, James is known as the spoon.
I'm psycho that way. I mean, psychic that way. No, actually, the cool thing is that a lot of people have asked me if I wanted to do that, and I kind of had to make a decision with Hypnothoughts. Did I want to teach spoon bending, or did I want to teach becoming a hypno recording artist? And I really felt that becoming a hypno recording artist was something much more substantial and something that they would get more benefit out of.
Agreed,
Of course, you're going to spend 2 days with me, so you'll have plenty of time, and I'm sure that I'll teach you all how to do some spoon bending. I have just heard from Hypnothoughts that they've added, they've changed my 1-hour lecture on becoming a hypnosis recording artist that I'm doing during Hypnothoughts to Friday, which is perfect. And they've added another opportunity on Sunday for me to do another spoon bending party. So we're going to do that. That'll be a lot of fun.
Those are fun. If you haven't been to one already, James hands out a bunch of spoons, and we all learn how to bend a spoon into twirly little knots. And well, for those of us who are better than others.
So I'm really looking forward to this and looking forward to meeting you. The key thing is that because I've got so much stuff available for you in advance, I really want to spend 2 to 3 hours on a one-on-one basis with each of the artists that are going to be there. It's going to be boring for everybody to sit and watch each other do this. So what I've done on the advanced website is that there's some questionnaires that I need you to fill out that will give me your background information so that I can start building your website so that once we get there, all we have to do is actually do the final touches on it, link in your PayPal account, which you're going to do yourself. I don't have access to any of that information. And this way you will have a link and a page that you can start selling product once you leave Hypnothoughts. So all that wonderful information that we learned from all of the wonderful teachers at Hypnothoughts, now this is going to give you some product that you're going to actually be able to go out and market.
Excellent. And I can't help but notice, as the glare is just like catching me in the eye, you've got a couple of albums there. It looks like platinum albums on the wall behind you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, those are a few of the records that I've collected over the years. Unfortunately, through moves and divorces, quite a few of them have disappeared. But I'll tell you what they are. The one right here next to the microphone, that was my first gold record. I received it on my 21st birthday. Okay. It was for the album was Andy Gibbs' Flowing Rivers. My actual first gold single was I Just Want to Be Your Everything, Andy's song. The flowing all the way right behind my head right here is Andy's second album, which was Shadow Dancing, which also was a #1 record. And the one right in the middle is Saturday Night Fever, which was one of the largest selling soundtrack albums of all times. In fact, at the time that it came out, it sold over 25 million copies. Wow. The I had a really cool position with Stigwood at the time. When we started producing the movie Saturday Night Fever, I was approached to go through the disco era of music and pick out songs to go on to the album. We knew the Bee Gees were going to record a couple of new tracks,
Right.
but it was filled up with some of the top #1 records of the whole disco era, which is one of the reasons why that went on. I've got many, many more gold and platinum records over the years, but these are the three that meant the most to me.
Right. And we only have so much room on the wall too, right?
Yeah. Well, I have to have room for my hypnosis diplomas too. So.
Exactly. So wonderful. It's been wonderful speaking with you. Anything you want to leave our audience with?
Just looking forward to seeing you. I'm going to limit the amount of people because I want to work with you on a one-on-one basis. The one thing that really keep in mind is even though it is a 2-day seminar, we're not going to, the first day, probably up until noon, we're really going to be doing the sit-down seminar part where I'm going to be going over the equipment and going over the process and what we're going to do. The next day and a half is really dedicated to fine-tune your personal websites and your recording.
Okay.
Prior to that, I'd like to set up one-on-one 2-hour time slots with each individual.
Right.
That I'll take you up into my suite. We'll set up the recording studio there where it's a nice quiet area, and I want to work on the recording on a one-on-one basis with you so that really by the time the seminar comes around, we can put it together. Now, some of you may have it all done. Yeah. You may already have recordings and you just want me to put the final touches on it.
Right.
Then go sightseeing on that extra day. The final conclusion on the last day of the seminar, I am going to do a little press release, and at that point I'd like you to invite your friends. We'll invite other people that are at Hypnothoughts to come in for a little party, and we'll all give a sampling of some of the work that we're going to do. So it should be a lot of fun. And
you're going to walk away with a product. That's the bottom line, right?
Yep.
Product, marketing, website, ready to go from beginning to end.
And the only thing I'm regretting, and I'm not really regretting this at all because I made this so inexpensive for the 2-day seminar, that what you're getting in advance well enough pays for your 2-day course.
Right.
Really what's happening is you're getting a chance to work with me on a one-on-one basis to help you get through any hurdles that you might have. An interesting thing about hypnosis recording is in the recording industry, we go out and we look for that talent, that cream of the crop, the people with the best voices. The wonderful thing I've learned about hypnosis is that you don't have to have a wonderful, deep-sounding voice to do recordings. It's what we say and how we offer those suggestions. So using some of the techniques that I have, I can take your voice, run it through some of my audio programs to actually get the best quality sounding of your voice. So even if you have a bit of a nasally voice or something, that doesn't matter. What does matter is you to break through your inhibitions and get this done.
Yeah, our own limiting beliefs. Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, James.
Wonderful seeing you again, Didi. Looking forward to seeing you this summer.
And again, because James' post-seminar is very limited in space, go to htlive.net and sign up right away because you'll be capping it off at some point.
Yeah, as soon as it gets to the point, and really I can't put an exact number on it, and the reason of which is because each person is an individual.
Right.
So as you sign up, I'm actually spending time to see where you are in your recording career, so to speak, to see how much work I'm going to need to do. Once it gets to the point where I feel that I've hit my maximum, I'm just going to shut it down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I don't even want to put a number on it just yet.
You'll see. But just know that be quick to get there and sign up because it's going to be capped off and closed. So.
Right.
All right, wonderful, James. So I'll look forward to seeing you this summer.
Great.
Okay, have a great weekend.
Same to you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.